Oh, the scooter. What a morning, October 1st. It's game day, week 4 in the NFL. Miami Dolphins 3-0 at Buffalo. The talk of the every network, the talk of the league, the talk of Millbank. Can't go anywhere without hearing some shout out about the Dolphins. I love it. Oh, go Dolphins. I'm predicting 23-22. Not your standard prediction here based on, a 70-point total last week, but that's what I'm doing. Time to go in here and write my thoughts on the game. Oh, such a beautiful Sunday. Prediction 23-22 Dolphins 4-0. October, here we go. Just before 11 o'clock, pregame continues.
Let's stay on that game, talking about the Dolphins and the Bills, because these are two of the highest scoring teams in the NFL this season. Miami is first in points per game. They're outscoring opponents by a lead that's 59 points, while the Bills are in second in both categories through 3 weeks. Look, Rex, I know you love your guy Josh Allen. He is 9-2 against the Dolphins. That sounds really good. It sounds like, all right, of course, you're going to take the Bills. You got on your blue today. This Dolphins team looks really different.
Yeah, they look different. They flat out look scary. And Mike McDaniel deserves all the credit because he is challenging you defensively. Like, it's like, yeah, we're the fastest team in the league by far. But he does unique motions that stretches you horizontally, and now he's running the football like he really didn't do last year. So to me, he's done a tremendous job. But Sam, you mentioned
offensive performances I've seen as an analyst in terms of explosiveness. I mean, explosive plays, the speed that they have. It's obvious how good they are. But Sean McDermott, now the defensive coordinator, calling the plays for the Buffalo Bills. He was spraying the perfume on Fick this week. Okay, let's just say that. I mean, they're in the division, they're familiar with all this, but still, he's calling this defense this offense like revolutionary and what they do and all that. I'm just saying, can you imagine the motivation? The motivation that's in that Buffalo locker room, those defensive players when they see that. And we've all been there. When we watch film, sorry, not you, Shifty. We all been there right here, okay? I'm sorry. I'm used to saying out.
We're watch film, just not watching.
We're watching film as players, and you see an offense go up a defense or vice versa, and they're having success, and it's like, we're so much better than that. And I'm sure the Buffalo Bills were watching the Denver Bronco defense saying, come on, man, we're so much better than that. I don't think the Miami Dolphins will score 25 points today.
Wow.
And I say that because of the familiarity of the division, who they are. The Bills have had their number. Watch for McDermott to have this defense motivated.
Well, this defense has been together. Dolphins against the Bills right here. Battle for first place. And to me, this comes down to Sean McDermott, man. What kind of defense do you have in store for the Dolphins with that high-powered offense? All that motion and the perimeter runs, and now they cut it back inside when you overextend. Like, this is ridiculous. This offense is fast forward. Like, are we watching it on normal speed? No, it looks fast forward to me.
How about, when I was on defense and we were at a point where I didn't know what I was looking at offensively, and coincidentally it was against the Miami Dolphins. It was the Dolphins when they had Ronnie Brown and they broke out the Wildcat. We had no idea this guy could throw or he could play quarterback, and we're watching this, and it was, what just happened? Where's the ball?
There he is.
You go to the sideline and it's like, Coach, you got an adjustment for me. What are my keys? What am I looking at? You see a running back there. This was like the first time this had ever been broken out. Maybe back in the 50s or 60s, but not against us. But it was like 17 for 113 and 4 touchdowns, and it was a shock. You're embarrassed. I think the next time we came back
to it today, but I will say our research department had to do a little extra work this week because we were trying to find the last time a team gave up 70 points in a game. We went all the way back to the footage in 1966.
That Washington team was
Rex was 4. I'm sure he was totally dialed into this one. Washington beat the Giants 72-41 on November 27, 1966. 66.
Is that Charlie Taylor?
Do you think any of us know?
I don't know, but that looks like Chris Hamburger, by the way, making a play there.
A lot of the viewers and the football fans were not even born in 1966. So, you know, the point that I made about it's all about Sean Payton, how his team rebounds. We cannot have 3 straight weeks with everything that was going on.
Worked out well for them. Let's get to the Dolphins and the Bills in Buffalo. One of the biggest games of the year so far. Miami put up 70 last week. Bills have allowed 13 points in the last 2 games combined and lead the league in takeaways. So what gives? Today they need to find a solution for running back Raheem Mostert, who has the most touchdowns in the NFL this season. 3 Dolphins are in the top 5 in touchdowns through the first 3 weeks. But Mostert doesn't just have a knack for getting in the end zone. He thrives on land and at sea. Kimberly Marks has his story.
Mostert off the left side, breaks a tackle, touchdown!
Feels great, baby, ride that wave, Mosterati!
When I was a little boy, I felt like the beach was just my getaway. I just hear a wave crashing or hear the sound of a wave building up. Be like water, just feel the ocean.
Long before Raheem Mostert was cutting his way through NFL defenses, the Dolphins running back spent his days surfing waves about 250 miles up the coast from Miami, in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Mostert says Billabong even offered him a contract to turn pro.
When you're out there on the surfboard, you have to have great balance, or otherwise you're gonna fall off. If you get knocked down, just get back up and keep fighting, keep pressing. And that's how I'm able to translate that from surfing to football.
Feels great, baby, with all that speed, Mosterati!
Start. He was cut by 6 teams before earning a consistent role in the league. Despite the long road to professional stability, Mostert keeps a daily reminder on his phone to show how far he's come.
I look at it a lot, especially on game day. I look at the cut dates as a reminder of what I've been through, and it's not going to happen to me again. I can definitely go through his team. Philadelphia coming in, undrafted rookie. Unfortunately, I didn't make the cut. Got scooped up by the Dolphins. And as soon as I walk into the building to go sign for practice squad, as my agent calls me, he says, "Raheem, get out of there. You just got picked up by Baltimore." I go to Ravens, play a couple games with them, and then I get cut by them. Browns practice squad. I'm on the Jets for about a week, and then I get picked up by Chicago. I'm with Chicago off and on. Practice squad by San Francisco in 2016 at the end of the year. Get my first ever carry that counted in the NFL.
And in 2018, while in San Francisco, the surfing celebration was born.
Actually, a funny story. My mother-in-law was in town. We were playing against the Raiders. And the night before, she was telling me, "Hey, Raheem, I think you should do this celebration." And she got down and she did the whole paddling and then jump up and she did that in my living room. And, I looked at her, I'm like, that's pretty dang good.
Mostert hits the home run, 52 yards.
Mostert's career took off in 2019, culminating with a record-setting performance in the NFC Championship game.
Raheem Mostert has 4 rushing touchdowns.
However, Mostert spent the next 2 seasons sidelined by injuries. He became a free agent in 2022 and followed his offensive coordinator from San Francisco to South Florida.
I found out Mike McDaniel was getting the job in Miami, so I was getting offers from other teams, but I knew that Miami was going to be a place where I wanted to be simply because I'm from Florida, but also I wanted to be with Mikey.
What place would y'all rather be right now, man? Come on. Let's be great today, man.
Now in his home state, and signed to a franchise he barely spent time with earlier in his career, Mostert keeps paddling and surfing into opponents' end zones.
Appreciate y'all, boys. Next time we're going surfing.
Oh, Raheem Mostert, he just put that into 4th gear real quickly, and it was over.
If you feel like you're defeated at the moment, I always tell myself, get back on that board and go catch another wave. And that's how I try to translate that into not only football, but in life.
Love it. Love it.
That's a a smart man right there, because you get a good touchdown celebration and you keep your mother-in-law happy. So that is a win-win for Raheem Mostert. Just one of Tua Tagovailoa's many weapons out in Buffalo today, and that's where we find our Jeff Darlington with the very...
Sam, Bills coach Sean McDermott called the Dolphins' offense almost revolutionary. And while we obviously know what that means to the scoreboard, I wondered what it means on the actual field. Now, keep an eye today on Miami's pre-snap motion. These tiny little moves that guys like Tyreek Hill will do right before the snap. I talked to 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan yesterday, and he said he'd never seen this type of motion used in the NFL before Mike McDaniel pulled it out in Week 1. Kyle started doing it in Week 2, calling the play cheap. Because as he said, when you have a fast guy doing it, it feels like just that. Shanahan said other teams, like the Rams, have also since stolen it. Kyle told me it allows your playmakers to get up to top speeds faster, putting strains on the safeties and the corners. And here will be the trickiest part for the Bills. The Bills will be without safety Jordan Poyer today, and the Dolphins will get Jalen Waddle back from concussion protocol.
Yes.
One other important note here that we want to point out, unrelated to that, we have seen DeMar Hamlin warming up in this game.
Good for DeMar. Good for DeMar.
And I imagine the only thing that explains it is speed.
That's the one thing about his speed. Jeff Darlington was just talking about Mike McDaniel having these guys on his team. I know it's fun just sitting at home at night, just designing up something for your 4x1 track team. I remember Tyreek Hill was in Kansas City, and I talked about the 4x1. The new 4x1 took this man and took his talents down to South Beach. So the new 4x1 team is with the Miami Dolphins this all season. Line it up. I want you to watch these other four in these other lanes and watch how they disappear into your screen. So you talking about what fun Mike McDaniel is having at night, designing this play for his offense. Well, how does the track speed translate over to the football field? Well, Tyreek, why don't you show him? Being able to put this ball, look at the minus 35-yard line. Look at the separation he creates between him and the DB. And I said about last week, Raheem Mostert, we just did a feature on him. I want you to look at him being able to get in this 100-yard meter dash, and I just said, how does the track speed translate over to the football field? Well, Coach McDaniels is having fun designing this offense here against the Patriots. One guy touches him, get through the whole teeth of the defense right there. 21.6 miles per hour. Well, is that all they have? Mr. Achan here running the 200. So last week, the running backs, 8 total touchdowns. So you heard, I want to know how this translates over to the football field. Well, young rookie, show them. Here we go last week. Look at this, 21.9. And they're running through the teeth. They're running through the teeth of the defense.
I love it. I love this speed.
That's one guy that I'm missing.
Something I never had.
Didn't even bring him up.
No, so I think to me, all this talk about Tua this offseason, he's having fun. Coach McDaniels is definitely having fun designing these plays. So today, with Poyer out, I said it earlier, Micah Hyde, the communication will be a must-see today in Buffalo. 1 o'clock, I'll be watching that game.
These guys talk about
Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins is just in. He's playing really well. Over 340 yards per game, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tua off to a great start. You notice I had to ask Nate, is Geeked still in? We know what former it is. Hey, folks, welcome to the NFL Today, presented by Jeep. I'm James Brown, back in Studio 43 with my colleague. In perhaps the biggest game of the week, it is, in fact, the #1 offense against the #2 defense. And guess what? That's when Tua and the Dolphins visit the Buffalo Bills. It's my time. Go time. Show time. Get on your feet. My time, go time, show time, get on your feet. It's a at least 70 points. It's like a video game right now. This Dolphins offense is the best offense in all of football. Another sack for the Buffalo defense. Sack number 9. This is insane. Get ready for a showdown with Miami. It's going to be just a wild scene. Biggest game of the weekend. I wish those guys could have seen Carl's giving me some help doing that one. Hey, folks, it was an offensive explosion for the Dolphins last week, putting up video game numbers, Boomer, by scoring 70 points in that dub over Denver. They're 726 total yards, ranked second in the league in history, with 3 guys accounting for, count them, 9 total touchdowns. And for more insight on the Dolphins and the Bills, we're joined live by the man in the booth in Orchard Park. That will be the one and only, raving about the play of Tua, deservedly so. But what else has impressed you about the Miami O?
Well, there's many things. Putting the tape on this week, it was really a fun week just to watch how they're doing this. From the coaching of Mike McDaniel to how they're using the running backs, the team speed is just off the charts. We used to say it about the Chiefs. This team is faster than the Chiefs were 18, 19 when they took the league by storm. They're doing the same thing here in Miami. This is a very difficult thing to deal with. I think Buffalo, though, today has a chance to slow that down, if I'm being honest, JB. Structurally, they have a system that's kind of built to package people individually and not just play everyone, go play cover 3, or play man and defend this guy.
Well, you know what? It's good to hear the student all excited about all that he studied this week, Tony. Thank you so much, and wishing you, and you know what? Take MVP this year.
I think there has to be. How about Tua Tagovailoa? I mean, you're talking about 8 touchdowns, 70% passing. We had the greatest show on earth with the Rams. How about the fastest O on grass? This team has got some serious speed, and that guy right there can operate this offense as well as anything. Quick release, not taking hits. He keeps up at this pace. There's your MVP.
You're giving MVP out already? We got like 15 games to go.
Well, hey, you know, it's just like the Heisman Trophy.
I answered the question.
Yes.
Here we go. 2 head coaches renowned for their prowess on their respective sides of the ball. McDaniel, the offensive guru, and McDermott, the defensive wizard. 2 master chess players going head to head. Time now for
To 20. Looks like a Miami Heat score.
Their schematics are almost revolutionary what they do.
9th sack of the day. 4 interceptions.
9 sack, 5 turnover day. As opportunistic of a collective group, you want to talk about making people pay for their mistakes. Coach McDaniel does a great job of moving guys around, creating different styles of offense. It's a handful. They have earned the right to be the division champion. You can get a couple of Usain Bolts, and we'll bring them in for a week and run scout team with about 3 or 4 of those guys, and that gives us a good look right there.
Just like Usain Bolt, this game is about power and speed. You have the #1 offense up against the #2 defense. Now let's check it out. Strength versus strength. Tua Tagovailoa, 8 TDs, 2 interceptions. On the flip side, that Buffalo pass defense, just 2 pass TDs and 7 interceptions, which is best in the league. All right, Phil, tell me about this Miami offense. What makes it so special?
Well, one thing that makes it special, they're the only team in the league that's really running this offense the way they do it. It's talent, it's scheme, it's speed.
Okay.
And here's what's going to happen. Watch this. Tua in the shotgun. Tyreek Hill to his left. Oh, let's fake a run to the right. And then what's the defense do? The linebackers come up. The safeties are back because of speed. Look at the big hole that Tua has, anticipates, and gets it to Tyreek Hill. Here we go. Follow the ball. Who's got the ball? Slick ball handling. Look at the linebackers. They're going way to the right. Tua, shovel pass back. Achane comes inside. Nobody sees him. Oh, there he goes for the touchdown. Really great game planning plays. Here comes the wide receiver in motion. Tua's going to fake to the right. Once again, a lot going on for the defense to really lock on. Then it's a reverse to Achane. Look at the blockers down the field. This is unbelievable. 6 of them. Once the defensive players hit the ground. We don't see this in the NFL. And Achane, terrific runner, keeps going down the field for big yards. And this offense, I'm going to say this to you, Nate. We got a resident defensive specialist here. He's a genius.
Oh, really?
Bill Cowher. Let's see if he can tell us the way to stop this all.
Okay, I love the fact that he's left-handed. I'm left-handed. I told you he's a lot like Joe Montana when he was in his prime because he's so precise. Completion percentage, 80%, and this is inside the numbers. Look at this number, yards per attempt, 11.7. That is a huge number for that particular statistic. That tells you how great he is playing. He is so insane. sync with Mike McDaniel's offense. What it reminds me of the Chiefs and Andy Reid. And all the fun stuff that they do, they're starting to do this now in Miami. And as Sean McDermott did point out, it's an offense for the ages. It is the greatest show on turf right now, and does remind me a lot of the St. Louis Rams when Kurt Warner was their quarterback.
I know there were health concerns, but the timing and everything is perfect with this.
He's been great. He's had to deal with a lot of adversity. Remember, he came in with a hip injury when he was drafted out of Alabama. Last year, he had the concussion issue. If he can stay upright and stay healthy, he's on his way to having one of the great years in Miami Dolphin history.
And, for all the plaudits that we're talking about right now, despite dropping a whopping 70 points in last week's dub, there is, Boomer, big-time concern for one of Miami's biggest contributors. Our collective thoughts go out to beloved mascot TD the Dolphin, renowned for his joyous push-ups coming up after scores. The beloved Dolphin suffered a slew of injuries, including a broken beak, a dislocated dorsal fin, and a torn blowhole. That all the result of the physical toll last week's celebrations took on the mascot, with many believing he may never muster a push-up again.
That's funny.
These guys are unbelievable everywhere, Jim. This is a mix of innovative ideas with speed, with talent, and with a quarterback playing so precisely. He's getting the ball out perfectly on time and as fast as anyone in the National Football League right now. This is a challenge for this Buffalo team.
Well, take a look at some of the plays you're talking about that's different, that makes it unique, led, of course, by Tua.
Well, Tua's biggest strength right now is the way that he gets the ball out. But what gives defenses trouble is this manipulating type motion, we call it. They go horizontally to go vertically. It's an outward motion with Tua. He goes in the tight end position and goes out to the outside receiver. They do everything from it. They throw the dig route. They throw a screen off it. And all of a sudden, you're like, how do we stop these receivers? They just line up, crack toss you. And this is what's giving teams trouble. They're looking the same over and over again. So literally, the defense has to come in, and they're like, okay, great defense, toss it out. He's on the field.
I'm so excited to see
a guy like that is
the Dolphins-Bills game, because you feel so good about what the Dolphins are doing right now, and the talent, the speed, and Mike McDaniel as a head coach.
Joe, the Dolphins have not won here in Buffalo, in Orchard Park, since 2016. The Dolphins have not started 4-0 since 1995.
Wow.
Since Don Shula walked the sideline.
That's a long time ago.
So there's a lot on the line here today. Control of the AFC East. These two teams finished the season against each other in South Florida at Hard Rock Stadium. That game could be flexed, we're told. It could be played on a Saturday or a Sunday or who knows when. But we'll know about that, I guess, in the next month. But the outcome of today may play a large role in that as well.
Well, Jimmy, this game, I think, is kind of... Both teams are stepping up in competition, playing each other. We all agree on that. By far, the best team the Dolphins have played and the Bills have played so far. They're at home, but boy, I tell you what, you get this one. Like you said, Jimmy, Dolphins could go undefeated. The Bills would fall back to 2-2. That'd be a heck of a start for this Dolphins team, for their confidence, especially with a couple of home games coming up.
Yeah, and with some other tough... tonight the Jets have got to play Kansas City, so that's a tough out for them. And the Patriots got the Cowboys today. That's a tough out for them too. So a lot of good things could happen by 4 o'clock this afternoon for this Miami Dolphin football team. But they've got to take care of their own business as they begin.
That's right.
We're just a few minutes away. They did, and coming in, they the one finger salutes was.
And it's not your number one?
No. And someone asked me if they teach them that in grade school in the Buffalo area. I'm not sure. We'll ask, though. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Miami Dolphins local broadcast.
With the stories that shape our...